We now proceed to the first session of presentations. The panel moderator is Dr. Yousef Al Hassan, co-founder of the Arab Group of Muslim-Christian Dialogue and author. Dr. Al Hassan has worked in the diplomatic corps since 1972 and has represented his country in many regional and international conferences and symposiums, including the meetings of United Nations General Assembly. I turn the time now over to you, Mr. Moderator, for you to run the session. Please, Dr. Yousef Al Hassan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, walhamdulillah. I was preparing my speech or introduction in Arabic, but according to instruction of my friend, Mr. Kandari, there is a copy of my speech in English, so I will read it and maybe we'll distribute the Arabic copy to our brothers in the lobby here. If you allow me, I want to begin with a short introduction to set the context of why we are meeting here in Emirates and what interfaith harmony means to us here in the UAE. First, I want to share with you the meaning of my favorite verse from the Holy Quran, a verse that captures well the purpose of our gathering today. With the grace of God, God created people of nations and of tribes, so we may know one another, so that we may cooperate and find value in our diversity. The meaning of this verse is very special to us, especially here in the United Arab Emirates. If the United Nations celebrates World Interfaith Harmony for a day or for a week, we here in the UAE celebrate it for 365 days. Here in the UAE, we celebrate interfaith harmony every day in our diversity through our daily interactions with our neighbors and friends and in the schools from different faiths, cultures, and races. We live every day as a model of a true multi-faith society, a beacon of peace in a region full of turmoil. We have today with us a representative from other religions and faiths who live in the UAE, who can better testify to the freedom of religion and support that they receive from the United Arab Emirates government and our leadership. To my knowledge, there is no other country that grants free land to build your place of worship for so many different faiths. Freedom of religion is granted in the UAE Constitution and secured as well through legislations. The UAE also has laws against speech and against hate speech and incitements of violence to ensure respect for all religions and for promoting tolerance and diversity. Another layer is the cultural aspect, which is cultivated through education to encourage a more open and tolerant mindset The UAE is leading the way to a new vision for young Muslims, an alternative ideology, one that's forward-looking and not afraid of modernity. The UAE models itself on key principles of Islam: respect, inclusion, and peace. Summarize it a little long, but I will summarize it. The character of our people and our leadership is deeply rooted in unity at home, compassion for others, and openness in minds, culture, and faith. We are 1 million Emiratis with 8 million foreigners that represent every country on earth, living, working together peacefully in the region's strongest economy. The UAE also a leader in the world in humanitarian aid and support of diverse countries, regardless whether they be Muslim or not. Just a few relevant examples. The ruler of Sharjah, who restored the oldest church in Armenia. The UAE government that restored over 100 churches, Coptic churches in Egypt, hospitals, and schools that were hit by extremists. None of this form of aid is new. It was inspired of all of us by the country's founding father and first president, the late Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. We show the world that it is not only possible to live in peace, but that in diversity you thrive. With diversity comes increased growth, increased creativity, and indeed a better model of humanity. This is what the UAE stands for and represents a place of welcome for all people, showing the true essence of Islam, a religion of tolerance and peace, a religion that promotes harmony and mercy. Dialogues like those we are having today help in breaking down prejudice and misconceptions. They enrich, enlarge, challenge, and correct the way some religions have understood and approached religious life in other traditions. It is our hope that our meeting will encourage our communities to build a culture of dialogue and tolerance in a world that is so much divided. Before I give the floor to our distinguished panelists, I would like to thank the Ministry of Education. Also, I would like to thank the organizing committee, especially my friend, Mr. Kandari, who has lived and worked in the United Arab Emirates for over 40 years and has tirelessly led a multitude of humanitarian efforts and community initiatives. Last but not least, I would like also to thank my friend Dr. Brian Adams, Director of the Center for Interfaith and Cultural Dialogues at Griffith University, who has made it his life's mission to promote the culture of interfaith dialogue around the world. Now, I invite our panelists to start up their presentation. Start with the Muslim or Islam speaker, Dr. Kobesi, Dr. Bishop Haider, Paul Haider, and Hindu speaker, Swami Sadgoyat, and the sixth speaker also, Sayyid Bahaya Manihar Singh Ahluwali. Sorry for the pronouncing the names.